got the ball. Look out. He got it over here on the right side of Charlie Cook. Cook handles it. Fakes, still has it to the right. Shoots in the middle to David. Score! That's the guy they try and get the ball to. The leading scorer in the North American Soccer League, Steve David, 6 foot, only 155 pounds. In Trinidad, he is still rated as one of the top sprinters in track in the country. Whip it thin, but tall enough to be very effective in this great game of soccer. Steve David. Is he going to go? Is he not going to go? He's got the 20-year-old defender. And right to Steve David. He says, piece of cake, friends and neighbors. I make those in my sleep. And it's 3-2. The leading scorer in the North American Soccer League has just scored another one. His 11th goal of the season for Steve David. He just pulled the trigger.
All right, guys. I went to school at St. Benedict's College a lot of years ago. And we did play ASJA. Do you want to know what the score was? No. Okay. You do? No, it was 21-0. But don't forget, St. Benedict's was the best football team at that time. We win everything, from junior team, senior grade, championship, we win it all. So we had all the great guys with Warren Archibald and Leroy Delian, and you guys wouldn't know that because you guys are like great-great-grandchildren at your age, right? But again, everybody starts somewhere. So I know you guys are not great players yet, but somewhere between here we might have a few of them. Who know who Pele is? You know Pele? Okay, good. When I was your age, I used to watch Pele play and listen to it on the radio because there wasn't much television at the time. And then guess what? I went to the North American Soccer League and played football, played on the same field against him and with him on the thing. So I personally met the Pele, and I didn't think I was gonna at your age, but I ended up doing that. So the world is open up for us to do whatever we want to do. So don't feel because now you're not that good, you can be that good. And guess what? When Pele came to the league, in the North American Soccer League, I was the MVP of the league, and he was the runner-up MVP. So you got to give me a round of applause for that, right? So let me give you my story. My story was, I was born in Point Fortin, and I went to Point Fortin Easy School, and then one day a teacher said, I was this high, small man here. I know he's going to be a good footballer, I can tell. And then some teacher said, he has something in him. And I was very excited about that. So now I started to work on my craft a little harder. Then I passed common entrance, went to St. Benedict's College, started to play for the junior team. And then at his size, I played for the senior grade team because I was that good, 13 years old around there, right? Not for the championship. I had to get to the 14, 15 before I can get on the championship team. But I knew education was the most important thing for me. So I of course, study hard, but play hard as well. And when evening time, go work hard, go work in your game. You can't wait for the coach to do that for you. You have to work on things special. So you have to plan other things outside of your coach's session in football. You have to do things on your own to develop. After college or high school, whatever you guys call it, I needed to do a little bit more. So I wanted a degree. I wanted to go to university. My parents didn't have the money to send me. They didn't even have the money to send me to sixth form. I had to get out of school and join the police service so I can earn some money, so I can get to go to a university. But because of my talent, because of the football talent I had, I got a professional contract to go play football outside the country. And how did I get that? I was playing for Trinidad against Haiti and Guatemala and Honduras and all the different things in the whole tournament we had. And scouts that came to the games and stuff, 3 people offered me contracts to go out and play in the States. And guess what? I said, whoever is going to pay for my school, I'd sign. So Miami Toro says, I will pay for your schooling and also pay for, give you money as a professional footballer. So I did that. I went to Miami, got into school, make sure while I was playing professional football, I got my degree. So I did all that, and then I continue beyond that. So forget the beyond that. In the North American Soccer League as a player, my first year I was Rookie of the Year.
Tony Douglas, one of several players from Trinidad playing on both of these squads today. In fact, Miami has 3 starters who come from Trinidad, including their dynamic duo, Steve David and Warren Archibald. Archibald was the most valuable player in the North American Soccer League last year. David was well up in the balloting for Rookie of the Year this year. He's done an outstanding job.
And you guys know what Rookie of the Year is? What is Rookie of the Year? The best, well, for the first year people, what do you call that? You don't call it rookie year, you call it something else, whatever. But the first year as a professional, I won Rookie of the Year. Scored the most goals. In 20 games, I had like 14 goals. And then the next year is when Pele came in. And this is 1975. That's how long. And then Pele came into the league. And of course, Pele came in making millions of dollars, and he was the best player in the world. And that's the year I won the most valuable player. Pele was a runner-up to that. I had 23 goals in 21 games. And then the next year after that, they brought in another German guy called Beckenbauer. I don't know who ever heard of Beckenbauer, but he was the captain of the German World Cup team. And then after they won the World Cup, he came to the United States and played with the New York Cosmos. And, of course, that year I scored 27 goals in 23 games, but got runner-up MVP because they gave it to Beckenbauer, who was big name, but I personally knew I should have won it, but they gave it to him anyway. But that's okay. So I have played with the George Best, all the great players in the world from this little country, which started just like you. So the sky is the limit for you. So all you have to do is to concentrate on the things you want to do and the things you want to achieve. You got to set priorities. If you want to be a doctor, you set priorities now to be that. So you have to do all the things that it's going to take to get there. If you want to be a professional football player, you set the priorities. You know you got to go work a couple times a day on your skills and all the different things. So all it is setting priorities and working towards what you want. Write it down. Things that you want to write it down, and write the things that you have to do to get there. And then every day you make sure you go over it, and you make sure you do the things that you say you're going to do to get there. And you can get there. There's nobody can stop you from getting there. So the next time I hear about ASJA, no, I am a fan. No, I'm one of you. Because I am talking to you now, and I'm part of you now. I'm part of this body. So the next time I hear about ASJA in the senior grade is that they're going to be in the Premier Division. So next year you guys are going to play senior grade, right? So we're going to make sure you get to the Premier Division and the junior team and all of that, and you guys are going to move up. I'm going to leave a couple of minutes for any questions because you guys might have a lot of questions for me, right? So let me open up any questions on anything you want to ask about football, about life, about anything. You do. The days you have, there's some days you go and the ball doesn't bounce for you. Everything you do is not, you're not doing as good as you want to. But you can't do that every day. It's football, and it happens. So you don't go down on yourself. You just work harder. And sometimes you need that to make sure you work harder. So Don't expect nobody else to give you that motivation but yourself. Okay, attitude determines your altitude. Attitude is how high, going to determine how high you go. I'm going to give you guys some homework. Do the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? 1 for A, 2 for B, all the way down to the 26th letter, right? And then spell out the word attitude and take the number under it and add it all up. And then guess what you're going to end up with? 100. That's 100%. And that is what's going to determine you. Whatever you do, you got to have the right attitude for it. So always, you can have a little chip on your shoulder when you get good. And I did that. I played with that chip on my shoulder because after I got good and I had game, you know, Pele, and a reporter said to me, how do you feel playing with Pele? And what do you think I said to him? I said to him, go ask Pele how he feel playing with me. Right? Because I had attitude. I had attitude because I had game. I said, I'm the MVP, right? So I mean, you have to keep working, like I said, at your craft, and nothing is impossible. And as long as you have the time, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Don't think, there's no barriers. Anytime something comes in our way, an obstacle, it's just a challenge for us to get better. So we work it out, and then we try, and we get better.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
You're now changing your question.
What I would say, Steve, is this.
My first question was, and roll back that tape.
I made my debut for Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur.
My responsibility was to get the ball and make things happen offensively.
All by not something.
In all the time we've played together, I've always been the decoy.
Welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua De Matos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. I love you, Messi.
Unfortunately,
Kiss the badge, kiss the badge. Oh.
What's that?
Welcome to this edition of The Interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Chicago.
Okay, what other question you have? Small man, you the top scorer with no goals? But you had to start scoring some goals. I heard your best scorer has 2 goals. That's not enough. We got to do better than that. So it's okay for now. Every time you play, as a goal scorer, every time you play, you should want to score because that's what wins games. Yeah? Okay, what other question you have?
Who was your most influential person in your life?
In my life?
For both football and school in general.
It had to be my mom because I remember days when my mom didn't have money to send me to school and she had to go borrow from my aunt. And then it came to the point I said, let me stop, that's after my exam, and let me go there and get some work and don't stress them out. And like I said earlier, and that was my motivation to get my education, so I had to do it somewhere. So I do it through football. So I would say my mom, but as a player, there was one player in this country named Bobby Sukram. He was my mentor, kind of the guy who I looked up to as the best footballer I see in this country. And then, of course, the big names outside Pele, George Best, Kinaglia, and all these guys are motivational players for me to get better. You set a standard to go, and when you get there, you set another standard. Don't say, I want to be the best player in the world, and you have to do it in steps. I want to be best player in Trinidad. I want to be the best player, so on. And you do it in steps. I want to be the best junior team player. I want to be the best senior grade player. I want to be the best championship player, and so on.
So do you have any pre-match rituals?
Pre-match? Oh, lots. And again, when you do something and it works for you, you continue to do it. You put on your left shoe before your right. Yeah, and you put and that kind of stuff. You're going to have a lot of those. But they come. Don't make that drive you, though. Don't make that be the thing that makes you. If you didn't do it, don't worry about it.
If you had any moves, like butterflies and stuff during the early game, I used to deal with that.
No, that's good. You must have butterflies. I used to run track as well, track and field. And before the race, it's like, from the time the starter says, get to your mark, everything goes, the butterfly goes. But before, you can feel it. Before a big game, the bigger the game is, the more the butterflies in your stomach. So you feel it, that's good. Then that means you're thinking about your game and you're gearing up for your game. But as soon as the whistle blows, the butterfly goes, you start playing. And you start getting it. So don't worry about butterflies. That's good for you because that means you are into your game and you are thinking about your game and you are wondering about it. So the night before, you can't sleep because you have a game coming up. That's how you feel. And then, guess what? Well, after you get good, the night before, you can sleep, and the people who you come up against, they can't sleep because they know they come up against you. That's how you have to make it happen. Yeah? Okay.
What was your biggest achievement and your biggest downfall as a player playing in football?
As a player? Well, biggest achievement, of course, is being the most valuable player in the North American Soccer League. You get a car for that. And you get a lot of money for that. And also, in Trinidad, being on the Hall of Fame, Football Hall of Fame, that's a big achievement as well. Downfall is, I can't think about much downfall because once you have, you're going to fall. But the key is to get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. So I don't have any downfall that I remember that kept me sitting and not going forward. You have to get up, dust it off. If you want to cry, you cry, and then you go. And anytime there's a downfall, that is an obstacle for you to do better and improve. And you have to work it out, find solutions to work that out and make you better. Anybody else? Who the top goal scorer who has 2 goals? Who is he? Stand up. No. Our national team does not have goal scorers. So you should now set a goal to be on our national team as a goal scorer. I was the top goal scorer in the national team. World Cup goals for this national team, I had 16 World Cup goals in 12 World Cup games. And I had the record. And then Stern John, who played for the strike squad, broke that record, but he broke that record playing 40-something games to get 16. So all you have to, but the record is broken. It doesn't matter how much. So all you have to do is to work on your craft and set a goal now to be the next top goal scorer in Trinidad and Tobago football. Or the colleges league, you can start off with your colleges league and then work yourself out. Yeah? I like goal scorers because that's how I made a living. And goal scorers make a lot of money when you turn pro. Don't live to be a professional, because I never thought I would ever be a professional. I never wanted to be a professional. I wanted to make a lot of money and to get a good job and all of that and get an education. But it happened that is a track I had to take. But don't put that as your goal. If it happens, it happens. And if it don't happen, you should be able to. All right?
I know you speak about individual aspects and stuff, but how would you advise a team to behave and approach games, big games, and how to better communicate and attitude towards the game? How would you advise a team to,
Well, you listen to your coach. Your coach has it. Your coach knows. He can see. He knows what he needs to get done. You just have to bring your game. Come with your best game to make the coach proud of you. Start with that. Make sure when you go out in the field, you give it all. You make your coach proud. When you walk off the field, whether you play good or bad, you could pick his head up and look at everybody in the eye because you had left everything on the field. You have given it all you had. That's what you have to do. And every time you play, give it all you have like it's your last game, because it might be your last game. Who knows? You think I never dreamed about being this age. All of a sudden I woke up, hey, Steve, you got old. It happens. So you have to give it every single day. You give it put your best foot forward for your life. Be the best you can be every single day. Whether it's school, football, whatever, track and field, whatever. Be the best you can be. And then you have no regrets. Like now I can sit back. No regrets about my whole career, because I felt like I did everything I had to do and I gave it my all. So now looking back, this is what they never told me. This is what nobody ever told me, and I'm going to tell you. When you get to be my age and you sit back and you look back at your whole career as a footballer or whatever, you enjoy it 10 times more. Because when I sit back now and I see football going on and I'm thinking about my day, it's so much fun. It's like, wow. You don't know what to say. I mean, it's just so much fun, the pleasure. And when people said to me, hey, Steve, thanks for the memories. That makes me feel so good. I feel like I could give them more, but I give them everything I have. But so those days will come. So you can be proud of them. Right?
And probably in your long football life, you probably play with countless sides, countless people. I mean, it's a different level when you're playing with every side, right? Or 10 as the case may be. But I want you to really let me know from a professional point of view if one man's attitude, whether positive or negative, could break or make a side.
If one man?
Attitude,
whether positive or negative. When somebody has bad attitude, you try to help them and pick them up. When somebody make a mistake, you try to help them and pick them up. I'm glad you say that, because when I played in Trinidad and you're not having a good game, everybody's on your case, right? And then when I went and turned pro, and I'm having a bad game, nobody's on my case, because they know you can do better. But when you're playing good, like here, when you're playing good, nobody says nothing because you're playing good. When you're a professional and you're playing good, you're hearing everybody encouraging you. Come on, Steve, good ball. Yeah, well, good goal, good pass. So it's the opposite, because that's our culture. Our culture is to get on people when they're down. And the professional life, they don't get on you when you're down. They try to pick you up and encourage you. So you should try to pick up the player who's not doing well. Well, come on, Johnny, you could do better. It's okay, and that kind of stuff. And pick up your players, because you will have days that you need that. And somebody would say to you, don't worry about it, next time. And you would enjoy that. So that's the attitude you have to have. Yeah? Okay. All right, I am so glad I get an opportunity to talk to you guys. And I hope you guys take this and think about it and do the things that would get you where you want to be. Make sure you set priorities, make sure you set goals and all of that to get there. Like I said to you guys, do the alphabet, put number from A1 to Z26, put the numbers, write down the word attitude, count up the numbers, the score, and see, it comes to 100. Probably the only word in the alphabet that might come to 100. So be that, and follow your dream. I have a show called Field of Dreams, Monday night on Axe. It's, again, that is what it is about. Follow your dreams. You guys have dreams to be the best player in the world, then follow that and do what you have to do.
Something from your thought. Just like to say thank you very much. Hopefully, we can see ourselves in a higher position. Tonight.
Already feel it. Thank you so much. I would not tell anybody that we beat you guys 21-1. 21 nothing. I would tell them it was 21-1. And guess what? Everybody scored, even the goalkeeper, because we got a penalty and